The strongest river monsters sense threat in their territory, the hippos. Are you ready to go into the strange waters of the mightiest rivers, where a unique predator lurks beneath the surface? What terrifying monsters live in these wild waters? We'll reveal the fiercest river monsters' secrets in an exciting voyage. Hippos rule the realm, so beware. Do you dare face these ancient behemoths and watch their remarkable ability to sense and counter threats in their territory? Join us as we explore the river, where danger and wonder collide and the hippos rule. Lake Charmo is a serene refuge for anglers who are looking for an exciting fishing excursion. It is located in the middle of the African Rift Valley and is surrounded by some of the most beautiful scenery on the continent. An enthusiastic group of anglers gather by the lake's edge as the sun begins to gently rise. They are ready to put their fishing skills to the test against the lake's wide variety of aquatic organisms. Their fishing trip holds the potential for both valuable catches and the adrenaline rush that comes with the possibility of coming across deadly animals that live in the water. Hippos sun themselves in the shallows while projecting a false sense of composure, while crocodiles wait patiently below the water's surface, their ancient eyes watching diligently for prey. The party decides to set sail regardless of the possible dangers involved, doing so with both determination and caution. They cast fishing lines into the glittering water and waited expectantly as the river beckoned them with its wonders. The fisherman realizes that this is important to respect the residents of the lake as well as the delicate balance that nature maintains as they laugh and tell stories about their previous adventures. Their outing to go fishing in Lake Charmo turns out to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience that serves as a monument to their fortitude and their passion for the wilderness. In this setting, where perilous encounters are intertwined with the untouched beauty of the African Rift Valley's natural environment, their fishing trip becomes an unforgettable one. A group of local fishermen in a picturesque village that is situated along the banks of a meandering river engage in a daily ritual in which they seek sustenance from the abundant waters of the community. They were equipped with traditional nets and wooden canoes, and they cast their hopes upon the surface of the river in hopes of catching tilapia and Nile perch, both of which are highly sought-after catches. The calm waters are suddenly bustling with activity as the sun begins to rise, and the fishermen expertly steer their boats through the tangle of reeds and lily pads. However, threats that lie dormant beneath the surface add an additional dimension of risk to the work that they do. Crocodiles are patient and crafty, and they lie in wait for an opportunity to strike, whereas mighty hippos are territorial and unpredictable, so they aggressively guard their territories. On the other hand, stealthy hippos guard their territories ferociously. Ever-present dangers, the fishermen exhibit a deeply ingrained connection with their surroundings, and their unyielding resolve to provide for their families pushes them to persevere in their line of work. They have developed their instincts over the course of centuries, establishing a delicate balance between surviving and coexisting with the wild inhabitants of the river. They rely on respect and caution to secure their safety while continuing to practice their time-honored trade. People are filled with wonder and anxiety when they come face to face with hippos, since they are the most hazardous animal that can be found in Africa. In spite of the fact that they give the impression of being calm and submissive, these enormous beasts are infamous for their hostile disposition and are responsible for a great number of fatalities, particularly among fishermen. Hippos can weigh up to 2 tons and have jaws that are so powerful that they are capable of ripping apart anything that enters their territory, including bones and other hard objects. On land, they could give the impression of being slow, but once they get into the water, their incredible strength and dexterity make them fearsome foes. Working in waterways inhabited by hippos or even close to them might be dangerous for fishermen. There have been reports of attacks coming out of nowhere and being very severe, leaving victims with very few options for getting away. The fact that hippos are territorial means that they may view humans as intruders, which might lead to violent behavior on their part. This increases the likelihood of an attack. Hippos play an important part in the ecosystem of Africa. Nonetheless, the fact that they are capable of violence serves as a glaring reminder of how critical it is to show respect for and get knowledge of these magnificent but dangerous animals. One brave fisherman was able to survive a savage attack by a hippo, but not without suffering terrible injuries as a result of the terrifying confrontation with the might of nature. The incident took place in the middle of what seemed to be an ordinary day on the river, when the fisherman was casting his net in the hopes of catching a plentiful catch. The man was caught off guard when all of a sudden, a large hippopotamus emerged from the water and launched a vicious attack on him. There had been no prior notice. The fisherman was able to avoid being devoured by the infuriated beast because of his lightning-fast reflexes and dogged persistence, despite the fact that the odds were stacked overwhelmingly against him. However, he was the one who received the most damage from the assault, suffering severe cuts and fractures that called for emergency medical attention. His survival is a demonstration of the unpredictability of the natural environment as well as the tenacity of the human soul. The courageous fisherman continued his journey to recovery, knowing that he would never forget the life-altering ordeal he had just been through. A crew of courageous fishermen in their makeshift boats set out into the perilous seas of a secluded region that was bursting with life. The shallow waters, which gave off the impression of being peaceful, actually concealed a number of hidden dangers, including hippos and crocodiles that were hiding beneath the surface. These dangerous animals were able to overturn the frail boats and attack the people who were inside with a single violent lunge, making them a threat to the entire fleet. The fishermen, unfazed by the potential threats, relied on their many years of experience and sharp instincts to outwit the predators who were waiting in the shadows. They threw their nets with their pulses racing and adrenaline pumping through their veins, in the expectation that they would catch a plentiful catch that would allow them to provide for their families and keep their jobs. Even though the danger was always present, the fishermen continued to come back to the lucrative fishing grounds day after day because the charm of the fishing grounds proved impossible to resist. Their reverence for the aquatic life that they coexisted with was tempered by the fact that they had to make a living in a setting where the splendor and peril of nature were inextricably intertwined. Because of the dangers that are inherently associated with the unpredictability of the sea, the local fishermen display unrelenting bravery and an unyielding dependence on fishing for their means of subsistence. These daring individuals, who live in a coastal community, face the vastness of the ocean every day with resolve in their hearts as they face the challenge of venturing into the deep waves. Their way of life is tightly entwined with the ebb and flow of the ocean currents, which determines their source of income. This way of life has been passed down through the generations, with each new generation carrying on the traditions, practices, and knowledge that have kept their communities alive for hundreds of years. They view the sea not only as a source of sustenance, but also as a terrible foe. The fisherman keeps their resolve despite the fact that storms are brewing on the horizon and waves are looming menacingly, even though they are well aware of the perils that lay ahead. Their resiliency is not the result of recklessness, but rather of a deep grasp of the rhythm of the sea and an unbreakable commitment to their families and traditions. Despite the difficulties, they continue to throw their nets, accepting their destinies with bravery and courage. Everyone, young and old alike, was mesmerized by the stories of miraculous escapes that were passed down from generation to generation in a seaside community that was quite remote. The tragic experience of a daring fisherman whose brush with a violent crocodile left an indelible impact on his life was one of the riveting stories that were included in this collection of compelling tales. The unlucky day started off like any other would, with the fisherman heading out into the dark waters of the river to begin setting up his net. He had no idea that a cunning and secretive predator was lying in wait just below the water's surface, ready to pounce on him. The crocodile pounced on the fisherman's leg in an instant, moving at the speed of light, as its jaws closed around the victim's leg. However, luck was on his side that day, and he was able to survive thanks to his innate survival instincts. The fisherman mustered up strength beyond his wildest imagination and battled back against the unrelenting predator with every ounce of his being, going toe-to-toe with him. After a tense and exhausting battle, he was finally able to free himself, but at the cost of his foot being severed in the process. It was a miracle escape that reverberated as a tribute to human tenacity in the face of some of nature's most terrifying monsters. That's all there is to this video, so we hope you enjoyed it. What's your favorite aquatic creature? Please leave a comment and consider subscribing to our channel.